So welcome to my channel, and let's talk about trauma, and let's also talk about overeating as a trauma symptom. So what is trauma? Trauma is when we experience very stressful, frightening, or distressing events that are difficult to cope with or out of our control. It could be one incident or an ongoing event that happens over a long period of time. You might be wondering, well, trauma is something distressing, stressful. I did not have that, but there were many things that happened when you were a child, in your childhood, that could have been contributing to the way you eat, how you eat, why you eat the way you eat, or overeating. I grew up in an environment where you have to finish what is on your plate. Did your parents ever say that to you? You have to, finish your food because they want you to eat. And sometimes it can be forced eating because you are full, but yet your parents want you to finish your food. And you remember, trauma is something that was out of your control. You couldn't control it. So trauma is not only when you experience something very distressing, it can be something that is stressful. That obviously would stress you out because you are full and your parents want you to stuff yourself up with food. And I believe our body is like elastic. It's like a rubber band. The more you stretch it, the more it becomes bigger. So if your tummy was meant to be full when it is this size, and the more you keep stuffing yourself with food because you want to make your parents happy or you want to listen to your parents, you keep expanding it. And that might contribute to you overeating today. Take, for example, when a baby is newly born, the hospital will provide you with a chart based on the tummy of the baby, the tummy size of the baby, so that you don't overstuff the baby with food. Let me tell you, I'm still doing my raw fruits and vegetables. Today is the third day, and that's what I've been doing for the past 3 months. And I think I'm gonna stop because it's scary. It's scary for me. Like I said, I was dizzy. And I had to sit down and tell myself, this is becoming too much for me. So that is the negative effect of overeating. That is the negative effect of forcing a child to eat more than what his or her tummy can take. So we are going to talk in depth of what trauma can do to our bodies, but another experience with trauma as a child is that for us Africans, when we go to parties, Africans can eat. Yes, we know how to eat very well. When we go to parties, our parents would say, eat very well. I'm not going to cook today, so you better eat. So we have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So if you go to parties in around afternoon, which is lunchtime, you have to eat for 2 periods. You have to eat for lunch and you have to eat for dinner. And these habits were forming in us, and we didn't know. We didn't know that we were, beginning to form bad habits, that we don't really pay attention to the brain when the tummy is full. So we eat for 2 periods. We eat for lunch, we eat for dinner, because your parents will tell you, you better eat because I'm not cooking this evening. So you eat and become so full and, overeat in the process. And the next one is, for somebody like me, I am a blessed woman. I have boobs, and growing up, I was so embarrassed by it. And the advice I was getting from people was that, oh, you have to eat a lot so that, the boobs will not be so obvious. And that made me not to love myself. That made me to overeat. That made me to become fat, to become obese, because I was basically obese. And that did not help me. So, and another thing is that in African context, people quantify being fat as being healthy, and also being fat as, you have enough money to eat. I mean, your parents will force you to eat. Oh, I want you to eat so that they will not think that I'm not taking care of you. You have to eat and be fat so that you will look healthy. But today I believe that food is not supposed to make you fat. When you eat and you are tired, you are overeating. You're not supposed to eat like that. But those habits were formed while we were kids. I want you to tell me in the comments below, did you experience something like that? And if you resonate with this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Here we talk about all things healthy, and we talk about the things that were not right growing up, so that we as parents or adults taking care of people around us, we should do better. So I was made to eat a lot because I have to eat to cover my body parts, because they were too big and they were too not beautiful, which is not true. And the overeating made me to be so fat. And I came to discover that the weight is even added to the boobs getting bigger, which is not, cool. And you can see in this picture, when I was overweight, the boobs was bigger. But people were telling me, oh, be fat so that it will cover it because it's too big. Well, those were one of my insecurities growing up as a young girl. But now that I'm an adult, I've come to realize that I don't need to gain weight to cover my body parts. That's my blessings, and I'm thankful to God for it. And losing weight has even made me to be more confident with myself, with the way God made me, not listening to what people say, which is so wrong. The next one is cultural. I mean, in my culture, when you have baby, when you just, newly put to birth, you are expected to eat, because there's this belief that your husband should take care of you. So being fat is the result of your husband taking care of you. So having gone through 9 months of pregnancy, it's a long journey. So after being done with having the baby, you have to eat and be fat. So if you are not eating, they will make you to eat. You must eat. And imagine those kind of habits, those kind of traditions that were not healthy, but we take it and we run with it. I mean, you have to be fat. If you are not fat, people will even make fun of you. Look at you, your husband don't have money to take care of you, and they make fun of you. And in order for you to save your face and save your marriage and do whatever the culture, the tradition says, you have to overeat. Even when you are full, you don't pay attention to eat because you want to satisfy the culture. So what were those things that happened in your home growing up that made you to overeat? So let me know in the comments below, did you experience something like that, where you are forced to eat? And also in growing up, we eat based on age. I mean, you are bigger, you have to eat in a big plate. Even when you are full, you have to finish the food in the plate. I mean, our parents will say, do we have a dog, a pet in this house that will eat that food? You better finish the food and don't waste my food. So you were forced to eat even when you were full. And that could lead to eating too much, or that could traumatize you, because sometimes you take your food, you will take food in the plate and you eat and you feel full, but because there is this small leftover, you're like, I don't want to waste it, I don't want to throw it away, I have to finish it, because you were used to hearing finish what is in your plate. So those were the things that happen as, growing up as a child, that kind of like affected you as an adult and made you to eat and overeat. You don't even pay attention to when you are full. You don't pay attention to your health. You don't pay attention to how this overeating is affecting you. You just keep eating. And that's why I said that sometimes it's not our own making. It is based on what we've been taught and what we grew up doing, and we did it unknowingly. That's why it is important for us to be careful about what we do to our kids, because now when my kids say they are done, I'll ask them the first time, are you full? And if I dare to ask them the second time, even my 4-year-old will say, I said I'm full. And I don't force them. I don't make them to finish their food finish the food in the plate. If you are full, put a lid on the plate and cover it. I'm gonna do what, I'm gonna take care of it. So you don't force your child to eat. And to those who have experienced, distressing moments in their life, because trauma sometimes is an ongoing event that traumatized you. For example, you were forced to eat over and over and over again. It traumatizes you over a period of time. And that's why you can't stop eating. You keep eating. You don't know why you are eating. So look into your past.